Hi, folks. Bob Mannery here. You're listening to A2D Radio, real sports talk radio for the fans, by the fans, no agenda. These guys are the best in the business. Hashtag it. No notes.
It's Monday night. The Sports Hounds are live. A2D Radio, A2D Live on a special national championship edition of the Sports Hounds. Brad Ryer back in the mix, back from the Caribbean. I'm Rob Brinkman. Frank Vesby produces the show as usual. As always, the Sports Hounds are brought to you by Specialized Physical Therapy, Dr. Paul Vidal. 3 convenient locations, no appointment necessary. Visit specializedphysicaltherapy.com for more information on their services. Got a big one tonight, Brad. This is the most anticipated national championship game in years. This is more anticipated than anything Clemson and Alabama did. This is much more anticipated than the Urban Meyer, Nick Saban showdown of Ohio State, Alabama a few years back. This is a borderline professional football game.
Well, there are going to be a lot of first-round draft picks coming from these two teams.
Draft picks in general.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. I mean, you got 2 of the best quarterbacks in the country playing against each other, if not the best. I mean, you know, I think it's unquestionably these are the 2 best teams. I don't think
yes.
I don't think there's any.
Clemson beat Ohio State.
Yeah.
Clemson is here.
Everybody won fair and square. LSU destroyed Oklahoma. It was even worse than I thought it was going to be.
Yes.
And I thought it was going to be pretty ugly, and it was really ugly. But these are 2 great offensive teams. Ultimately, Rob, the team that plays better defense is going to win this game. I mean, you know, it's going to be a high-scoring game. I don't think LSU's defense is great. I think it's pretty good, but it's not great. Clemson, on the other hand, it's hard to say how good their defense really is, just because they never really played anybody. I mean, they did play Ohio State, and they beat Ohio State. So, but we'll see. They've never played an offense that could score like this. This team offensively is just
and
a juggernaut.
You know, the game's in Louisiana. It's at the Superdome, right in LSU's backyard. Joe Burrow's had one of the greatest college seasons you can imagine.
Oh, and he was unbelievable.
I guess when it comes down to selecting this game, are you a Burrow guy or are you a Trevor Lawrence guy? No. Are you a Coach O guy or are you a Dabo Sweeney guy? So I think everything else outside of that is pretty even. They both have skill players. They both have running backs. They both have great offensive lines. They both have absolute animals on the defensive side of the ball. It's very, very, very tightly contested game.
Yeah, I like LSU here. I think that their defense will find a way to make a couple of stops and win a very high-scoring game.
So Brad,
I don't think there's going to be a lot of punch in this game. I think what's going to determine it is turnovers, because I do think there'll be a couple of turnovers. Somebody's going to mess up a couple of times, and you'll see a couple of turnovers. But I just don't see these teams being able to really stop each other.
So that's our skins out. Sorry, not our skins out. Our ATS Sports Poll of the day. ATS Sports Picks. Visit atsportspicks.com. Use the promo code A2D for 20% off their services. Will Clemson upset LSU for the national championship tonight? You're an LSU guy. You're taking Burrow. You're taking Coach O. How much do you think this de facto home game for LSU plays into it? Are you buying into that?
No, because there's going to be plenty of people there from Clemson.
I agree. I think people are making way too much.
Yeah, I think so.
Way too much of that.
I think so. Clemson will have their route. It'll probably be like 60-40 for LSU. But I mean, they're going to make a lot of noise either way. You know, if LSU has the ball, the Clemson fans are going to be screaming to try to make them, go offside. And,
Oh, look at the Donald in the house.
yes, the president is here.
I think Clemson's the only championship team, them and the Nationals, that actually went to the White House with him as the president. But yeah, we got Donald and Melania's little shiny dress. Trump's in the house. That's how you know it's a big deal.
Looking very stern and businesslike as usual.
See, I'm going Clemson here. I like Clemson. Trevor Lawrence is 25-0 as a starter. He's never lost. He could potentially go 3 years before he's drafted first overall next year. 3 years, no losses, and 3 national championships. It's unbelievable. I think Dabo Swinney.
That's remarkable.
I'll give him the edge. I'll give him the edge over
Coach O.
It's
close.
Slightly.
It's close.
I'm going Clemson. You look at the line for this game. Let's see, because it has moved as we're getting here to kickoff here. Right now, the line sits at LSU minus 4.5. I think Clemson wins the game outright. I am taking Clemson plus the 4.5, 66.5 over under, which is high.
Yeah, I think it'll be a little higher than that.
Yeah, you could get the over. I'll take the under. All we need is a little sputter here out of the gates by one of the offenses for that.
Yeah.
To go under. So I like Clemson, right. The under. Looks like they're singing the national anthem. The Donald's in the house. It's a big-time game here in the Superdome. I'm excited.
I see like a 45-35 type game.
That high, huh?
Yeah, I do. I think what's going to happen is both teams are going to score a lot, but I think whoever commits a fumble or throws an interception, there's going to be a couple of turnovers, and that's going to be the difference. I don't think. Listen, if you had an over/under for punts in this game, okay, I would put the over/under for punts
5.5.
5.5.
Yeah,
5.5.
I'll take the over on that.
Yeah, I would say.
Frank, you're chopping at the bit.
Maybe
you want to make a pick?
Yeah, you know, Brad, you went with LSU. Rob, you went with Clemson.
Break the tie.
I'm going to break the tie, and I'm going to go with LSU on this one. I think LSU, they look like the more complete team on paper. I know I'm not going to expect a performance from Joe Burrow from what we saw a couple weeks ago. But you know, it's going to be an entertaining game to watch, both offensively. I mean, you're probably going to look at 2 possible number 1 overall picks, one with Joe Burrow,
no,
the other
they're definitely the next 2 number 1 overall picks.
So this is going to be a matchup to watch.
LSU scored over 50 points.
Yeah.
Against, I mean, they scored 48 against Alabama.
They put a drubbing on Alabama. Let me look at that.
I mean that to me that kind of tells it all, just how good this team is.
Yeah, this team is really good, and defensive wise, I mean, LSU, they're called DBU for a reason. So I think they're going to put a lot of pressure on Trevor and company. So it's going to be close. I'm going to go LSU winning 28-24 on this one.
So that's a Clemson cover.
It is a Clemson cover.
That is a Clemson cover.
And an under.
Clemson cover, an under. And
so
an
you
LSU
got a Clemson cover. So we think alike. I have Clemson winning the game. Here's another thing that I think's overlooked when you're making predictions for these games. Clemson's had the number 1 recruiting class in the country the past 2 seasons.
Oh, that's
not saying LSU is recruiting slouches down there on the bayou, but there's just more talent at Clemson. And I think that shows up here tonight. I think Clemson wins the game. Looks like we're getting
it's entirely possible. I mean, these are 2 great teams.
So Clemson, LSU. Brad, you like the over 66.5. Me and Frank like the under. We're going to be updating you throughout the show. We're a special 1-hour edition for this game. Brad's a little under the weather. I want to get home to watch the game. So we're going to go till 9, and then we're going to go watch football. Speaking of football, the AFC and NFC championship games are set.
Yes, they are.
We had a shocking upset in the AFC. The Ravens go down at the hands of the Tennessee Titans.
And it's not just the fact that they lost. It's the fact that they got smoked.
They really did get so. It was a complete egg by Harbaugh and John Harbaugh and the Ravens.
I hate to be crude and crass about it, but they got their asses kicked.
They did.
They got their asses
Lamar
kicked.
never really got going.
The Titans dominated them on both sides of the line. And all the comments about, New England didn't really want to tackle Henry. Well, you know what?
Baltimore
didn't want to tackle him either.
I wouldn't want to tackle Derrick Henry right now.
No,
that guy's
is
a beast.
I mean, boy, oh boy, oh boy. I mean, as far as he's concerned, you've got to hit him in the backfield before he gets ahead of steam because he's just. You know who he kind of reminds me of, and I know it's the same. It's sort of the same team, except a different era. Earl Campbell.
It is the same team.
It's the same. It's the same team, and it's a different era. But
yeah, power running.
He's a power runner, but he's fast too. Earl Campbell used to be the exact same way. I mean, yeah. For those of you who can remember the 70s and 80s, boy, Earl Campbell was a power runner who, when he got the speed going, kind of like Herschel Walker used to be. He was a power guy, but once he got the speed going, it took him a little time to get the motor burning. But once he got the speed going, nobody was going to catch him.
And then, the Ravens, they didn't come to play.
No, I think they were overconfident.
They had
I think
2, 3.
They were celebrating the fact that New England lost a little too much.
Yes.
I think they were so confident
it looked
because
that
New
way
England
with
lost.
Kansas City as well.
Yeah, Kansas City came out.
But getting back to the Ravens, they weren't ready to play. They didn't tackle well. They didn't play good defense.
They were dropping passes.
They had numerous drop passes that really could have gotten Lamar in a rhythm early in that game. And if Lamar gets in a rhythm, much like we saw the Chiefs on Sunday, once these quarterbacks,
once Mahomes got himself together, that was it. I mean, I think you said it all on Facebook. Very soft decision for the.
Don't even get me started. Bill O'Brien should be ashamed of himself.
It's 21-0.
What a wuss.
Fourth and a foot. You got to go for it. You're blowing them off the line of scrimmage at that point. You've got all the momentum. You kick the field goal, and you basically, you basically have given them the momentum because they finally got to stop. And you could tell it's almost like Kansas City, as soon as they
Here's
did that.
the sequence. There was a 3-play sequence in that game where I'm sitting there watching it with my beer in my hand saying, wow, the Houston Texans are going to blow this 24-0 lead and lose this game because Mahomes is about to get going because they get marked short of the first round, which they were. It was a good spot. Bill O'Brien questioned the spot in his press conference. It's 4th and 1. You're up 21-0. You got to go for that. You got to go for
the jugular.
Run a sneak.
You're playing the Kansas City Chiefs, the best offense in the NFL. You have to score touchdowns.
Then you kick the field goal. Then you let up the big return to Hardman.
And that's what got him going. But I do think the field goal, the decision to go for the field goal.
21-0, the game's over. He should be embarrassed and ashamed of himself. Then it's 4th and whatever, deep in their own territory.
And a fake punt?
They do a fake punt, an awful spot for a fake punt.
There was no
reason for it. It
gets
sniffed out and stopped by that guy Sorensen.
And he was waiting. They were waiting for it.
Who was everywhere. He played a phenomenal game, Sorensen.
If I didn't know better, I would swear Andy Reid said to them, watch out for
the fake. Because they're great coaches and they had it sniffed out.
Yeah. And
then they got a super short field. And then all of a sudden it's 24-14.
And then when it was 24-21, you knew the game was over.
24-21, it's over.
Yeah, you knew once Kansas City got the
third touchdown. And it's 28-24 at half.
Yeah.
You have 28 points in the third quarter. Bill O'Brien. And then the idiot goes out in his press conference and he gets asked about the situation. Well, it was 4th and 1. We thought we got the first down. We didn't get a good spot. We just didn't have a good play to get us the yard we needed. You didn't have a good play? Are you kidding me?
You didn't have a good play.
You didn't have a play to get you're in that divisional playoff round. You didn't have a good play to get yourself a foot to put Andy Reid and the juggernaut Kansas City Chiefs out of their misery. 28-0, the game's over. And then we have these soft wannabe like analysts. Oh, you can't turn down points in the playoffs. You can't turn down points in the playoffs. Never a bad move to turn down points in the playoffs. Yes, it is. There. You go for the touchdown. If it's 21-0, at least the Chiefs are way back there.
You are playing the Kansas City
Chiefs. Oh, it's ridiculous. I'd want his head on a silver platter if I was a Texans fan.
If I could go back, if I could go back a week to the Minnesota-New Orleans game,
yes.
Okay, when Minnesota needed to score a touchdown, you know what? They went for the jugular every time.
And that's what happens. You win the game.
That's how. When you play a team like New Orleans or Kansas City, you can't kick field goals. You've got to get touchdowns to win the game. You start with the field goals. You're giving the defense gets a win. And once the defense gets a win, the offense feeds off of it. And that's exactly what happened.
And we are underway in New Orleans. LSU kicking the ball to Clemson. Clemson in all orange. LSU.
And it'll be a touchback.
The white. Touchback. Here comes Sunshine Trevor Lawrence into the game. And boy, I hope that, Eagle scouts,
I'd like to,
the Giants scouts,
I'd like to see. I would like to see.
Are tuned in.
I would like to see
tentatively
LSU take that
game.
smile off his face.
What, Sunshine smiles?
Yes.
I mean, no one's been able to do it yet. He's 25-0.
He looks like a little girl with that hair. Come on, Trevor.
It is a weak
You're a
haircut.
man. What are you, a hippie
Yeah.
from the 60s? Come on, Trevor. It's 2020. We don't grow our hair like that now. Come on.
He reminds me. You ever see Dazed and Confused?
Yes.
The little freshman.
Yes. Oh, look at this play. Oh,
hitting hard.
Oh, that's a big play. But LSU. Clemson's offense is so good they can turn that around quickly.
Grant Delpit, number 7. He's definitely a guy you should be watching as this game progresses. He's the top safety in the nation.
LSU doing the hurry up offense.
Clemson doing. Wow, what a dime!
Yep.
Is that Higgins? No, that's Ross.
That was something.
Great. T. Higgins is number 5, orange.
And we got a flag.
We got a flag down.
Oh boy.
Well, it looked like they got the playoff before LSU was ready. LSU didn't even look like they were lined up and ready, to be honest with you. Yeah,
they
were
got offsides. You decline that.
Yeah.
Clemson's off and running. Trevor Lawrence off and running. Dabo Sweeney and the Clemson Tigers off and running. They are on the move.
Oh.
Yeah, clear as day. Number 18 there.
Yeah, they jumped and then they all just stood there.
Let's get some comments here. We got Greg Malakovic did a great job filling in last week for you, Brad. Brad going out on a limb. Team that plays better defense wins. Yeah, that was a Booger McFarland statement.
Sorry, but you know what? It really what all I'm trying to say is these two offenses are so good. The question is who's going to get the first
here's
stop.
Etienne. Here's
Like Etienne.
Did I miss a play?
He went for a good gain.
They're on the 28-yard line now.
You get him the ball in space, it's over, Etienne. He's
they
unbelievable. He's the best running back in the country.
This team is speedy. I think LSU's offense is just a little bit better.
You're much more seasoned than myself, Brad. But the way he gets going.
Oh, Etienne?
Yeah.
Oh, he's unbelievable.
The way he gets going to top speed and just a few steps is just unbelievable.
His acceleration is
I think he should be a top 15 in the draft next year. I think he's the top running back. You look at a team
I think he's going to be higher than that. I'll tell you what,
might be right.
Your team should be looking at him, boy.
What, the Eagles? Wow, we have so many. He's a running back.
Yeah, you could. Well, yeah, but you don't have a running back
receivers.
Like that. Yeah,
we have Miles Sanders. He's awesome.
He's okay. He's not bad. He's not this guy though.
Yeah.
Look.
I'd rather grab a couple receivers.
If I were you, I'd rather get a guy like Judy if you can. But that he may not be available by then.
Well, Judy, anyone.
Yeah,
the Eagles receivers last year, they were terrible.
I would think Judy would be picked by the 10th pick.
Yeah, Judy's probably going to be a top 5 regardless.
Well, the Eagles
I just don't see Judy falling right to 21 unless something crazy happens.
Well, who's that other really good receiver on Alabama? Smith.
Big sack there on 3rd down. There's one of your stops, Brad.
As I said, that's going to be very key because
There's
stopped
Grant
him.
Delpit, the nation's Jim Thorpe Award winner. top defensive back in the country.
As I said, under 5.5 for punts this game.
Well, this is going to be unless they go for it,
Yeah.
this is probably going to be a field goal attempt.
Right. Yeah, it'll be a field goal attempt.
I don't know. College kickers are tough sometimes.
They stink sometimes. Yeah. No, I know they do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know about
sugarcoating.
I don't know about
there.
I don't know about Clemson's field goal kicker. I have no clue. I do remember one team that could never get a good field goal kicker. That was Florida State. Remember how many games?
Yeah,
they
oh,
lost
yeah.
Oh,
because of-
man.
Wide right.
Yeah. Oh, look at this. They're punting.
I think they were trying to coffin kick it.
They're just going to try and pin it back. I mean, strategically, that's the good play.
See, I would have. You know
Well,
what?
they
From
just
there,
took a delay game,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
they have more room to
yeah.
try and pin them back.
How about that? They actually are going to get a punt out of this. That-
Five and
that's
a half, over 5.5 punts.
Could be over 5.5.
In good
Now, I'll tell
shape.
you what, that is a huge stop for LSU. I know it's the first series of the game, but I think stopping the other team is going to be at a premium in this game, and LSU
There we are, down
is going
inside
to,
the 10.
LSU
Rob
is gonna have a
Povia
long
checks
way to
in.
go.
Let's go, Joe. One more big-time performance. So Rob is on the Joe Burrows LSU train. Agree with Paul. Give me Trevor Sunshines and that experience. So Greg likes Clemson. Rob Povia, have a great guys. The Hounds rule.
Yeah, we got
Appreciate that,
Rosca up. Rosca, who do you like tonight?
Crossing guard Ken checks in. Good evening, gentlemen. Clemson will win. I agree with Brad on the aspect of it being a rather high-scoring game. Just the difference, Clemson will prevail. Tigers win tonight, no doubt. That's from Mike Parker.
Thanks, Mike. You really went out on the limb on that one.
Yeah. Go Tigers, not. So he likes Clemson.
boy.
He clarified.
Okay.
Trevor Lawrence is that dude. That's from Mike Parker. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Joe Burrow is really good, but whoever gets Trevor Lawrence in next year's draft
David Rosca
is really
likes
gonna
Clemson.
win.
He is going with Clemson.
Rosca likes Clemson.
Yes, he does.
Deion Brown checks in. He likes Clemson tonight, even though LSU is tough. Deion Brown, love the new studio, by the way. Don't think I acknowledge it on the show since the new setup. Yeah, it's absolutely. I mean, we got MJ up. We got the Hockey Joe. We got Dr. J up. Reggie White. Bernie Perrant.
Where's
and
Lawrence Taylor?
Shut up. Scumbag Lawrence Taylor.
Oh, boy, I'm sorry. There's some times when you just can't help yourself.
How much for the Bernie Perrant framed jersey? $220, Ken. $220 and it's yours. The wall needs a framed Randall jersey on it, just FYI.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, okay.
Would that be Randall McDaniel?
No, that's Randall Cunningham.
I knew that.
Duh.
I was just.
I know
rude.
you're just.
I was just being rude again. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. That's twice now.
And we're gonna keep you updated. LSU about to get the ball about the inside the 10-yard line. So Clemson special teams doing their job, pinning Joe Burrows and that offense back. Once they come back from commercial, we'll give you some LSU players on offense to highlight and some Clemson guys on defense to watch for.
That'll only take about 20 minutes.
Well, we're only doing an hour show tonight, so that might take up the whole.
Yeah.
But
These
getting back to
commercials.
the NFL, Bill O'Brien.
Are you guys going to give away a pair of tickets to the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Tim, I don't
Yeah,
think
we're giving it. Yeah,
I don't think that.
we had a whole box of them. We're just handing out.
Yeah, I don't know that we're going to.
Everyone gets one.
This particular Super Bowl, we're going to have to sit it out.
Well, Tim, if you want to see a special bowl game, you can check in on Wednesday when we have our Lemon Bowl predictions.
The Lemon Bowl predictions?
Lemon Bowl.
How's that going?
Right now, the Ralph's lead is down to 1 game ahead.
Ooh.
And
Uh-oh.
yeah, so
Game up on who?
on Ryan, and I am 2 games back with the conference championship games. It's going to be a very messy
Oh, look at this
situation.
escape by Burrow. Throwing it away. No! He
Unbelievable.
throws a bomb and it's caught.
Unbelievable. Who's that, Chase? Oh, it's Thaddeus Moss, LSU
Burrow.
tight end,
Burrow is unbelievable.
son of Randy Moss,
Yep.
There's a
Pro
flag
Football
on the
Hall
play.
of Famer. Could be a hold, possibly.
Illegal man downfield.
And
Oh,
a
that's a
lineman
shame.
downfield. That's tough.
That's tough, but what a play by Burrow.
But getting back to the NFL, we
Man.
talked about the AFC. Bill O'Brien, complete
Bill O'Brien
crumb.
is not going to be the
Crumb
coach
of the
year.
week, crumb of the day, crumb of the year.
Yes.
I mean, what a loser.
Mr.
What
Chicken,
a puss.
Mr. Chicken
What a
football.
wuss. Chicken football. Cost his team the game. You could see it. Just the momentum shift right after that. Those 3 plays I talked about earlier.
The stupidity factor was definitely out yesterday.
Just go for it.
yeah.
Just get a
You
yard.
You have to go for it in that situation. You are playing the Kansas City Chiefs. Okay, you are not playing a team that can't score a lot of points. I mean, I just don't get what they were thinking.
And then we shift to the NFC.
2 great games.
Well, I mean,
As far as-
Niners Vikings
Well, I'll tell you
wasn't
what.
really a great game.
Well, I'll tell you what a great
the
performance.
right
by
team,
Niners
the right
defense.
team won. I'm glad the Niners won in advance because. Are you disappointed as a football fan that we don't get to see Lamar Jackson versus Patrick Mahomes next week? We got to watch Tannehill.
You know what I'm more disappointed at? I'm more disappointed that I don't get to see Breeze and Rodgers in the NFC Championship. That's what I'm disappointed.
Well, they would have
about.
played last week if the Saints were.
Okay, yeah. Well, I'm disappointed I didn't get to see that matchup because
Tom Arnone, let's go Clemson.
Yeah, that was a little disappointing. Oh, he dropped it.
It brings up 3rd and 13. Little sputters out of
Yep.
the gates here.
Yep. Well, LSU committing a big penalty, which took away a big gain.
That guy number 8 is
That was
awesome.
By the way, that was holding on number 8.
Hey, let him play. I'm all for it. Let him play.
Oh, I'm just saying that was definitely holding, but you
That
know,
guy's a beast. Terrell, number 8 there. He's going to be a first-round pick probably. And if he decides to come out, he can go back to school if he'd like.
well,
but-
if he's a first round pick, he'll probably come out.
You would think.
Yeah, I mean,
It's
if you're
big
a first
third
round
down here. They try and do a bubble screen. That's not going anywhere.
pick, they're lucky it wasn't a safety.
2 weeks to prepare. It's going to be up to these coaches to kind of throw a wrinkle in to, get
Well,
the
now-
defense off
Now
balance.
LSU is really backed up for this punt.
That's 2 possessions, 2 punts.
Yep, they're really going to be back
Over
They're
5.5.
So you're looking at probably Clemson getting the ball around LSU's 40-yard line, I would think. When he's punting from there, and as I said,
They're going to have
around the
great
40-yard
field. They're
line.
going to have
Yep.
great field position
Yeah.
here.
Oh, terrible return, but still.
It doesn't matter. He should have just fair caught it. And
Yeah, they got the ball.
they're
at
on the plus side of the
45-yard line.
50 here.
Absolutely.
With Trevor Lawrence, you got to think this is going to be a touchdown drive here. But back to the NFL again. Let's go to the NFC now. The party was over for the Vikings. They get absolutely
Annihilated by the San Francisco defense.
death by 1,000 cuts, really.
Yeah.
I mean, they started off okay. They get the touchdown to Diggs. They're kind of in it. But, I mean, the Niners just
They wear you down with that running
it
game.
just bled them dry.
Yeah, they wear you down with that running game. And
No
and
upset here. No upsets in the NFC, really. I'm very happy that the Seahawks lost. Call it salty. Saw it.
Well, maybe a little salty, but I'll tell you what, I do give the Seahawks credit for making that comeback. But again, if you're the Seahawks,
Yeah, 28-3, and they almost
you
won.
had
It's
two
pretty good.
chances. Yeah, absolutely. You had 2 chances on 3rd and long to stop them on that last drive. And
Yeah.
you couldn't do it.
Couldn't do it.
And I don't want to hear about the ball got marked. They got a favorable
No,
mark
it
on
didn't.
that last play.
No, it didn't. Because let me tell you something. The yellow line is not official.
No, it's not. That's
If
number
you
one.
if you looked at that yellow line and where the little orange stripy thing on the field is, the orange stripy thing is about 6 to 12 inches behind where that line was on the Fox broadcast.
Well, and the other thing you have to remember is that Seattle should not have given.
How about
the,
don't spot him a
Green Bay
28-3
Packers-
lead?
Well, no. Seattle. Well, because they spotted them a 28-3 lead, they had to play perfect football.
I mean,
And
not only it was the story of the game was Seattle's third down defense or lack thereof.
Yeah, they were 9 for 13 on 3rd down.
Green Bay scored
Bay.
2 touchdowns in the first half on 3rd down. One was a 3rd and 7 pass
Rob,
to
again,
Devontae Adams.
Green Bay was
and he had
9
2
for
chances
13.
in the last
Yeah, but you can't. I mean, you
waning
can't let,
moments of the game to get the ball back from
but
Russell
you can't-
Wilson.
The bottom line is, if you're going to complain about the spot, you can't let Jimmy Graham catch the ball that close to the sticks. Okay, that's number one. Number two, even had they marked that ball a couple of inches short, Green Bay would have gone for it. Make no mistake, they would have given the ball, and they would have given
Matt
the ball.
LaFleur is not Bill O'Brien.
Nah, he would have gone for it. And let me tell you something: Aaron Jones would have got the first down, and it would have been lights out. But let's give Aaron Rodgers a lot of credit, because I'll tell you what, in a big spot, he just does it again and again. And how do you like this? Yet another punt. So I was totally off.
That's already 3 punts.
That's 3 already. So I'm wrong.
And then, we're moving on to Championship Sunday here. I'm pretty confident that the Niners are going to beat the Packers.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Fairly confident.
I think they're going to win fairly easily too. To be quite honest,
I don't know about
with you.
that. Because it was, 37-9 the first time?
Yeah, they murdered them.
It's not going to be like that.
I don't know if it's going to be like that, but here's the thing, Rob, and I've noticed this is a pattern with a lot of these games. The teams that dominate the line of scrimmage
They win.
And
That's why the Eagles won the Super Bowl in
49ers,
2017.
the 49ers, the first time they played them, completely dominated the Packers' offensive line.
Well, look at their personnel. They have 4 first-round picks on their defensive line, and they have 2 outstanding offensive tackles.
Yeah, and they got pretty good corners too. I mean, that defense is just they're ferocious. I mean, they're everywhere.
I mean, I'm just looking at the lines for the first time now. The Niners are a whopping 7.5-point favorite over the Green Bay Packers.
I think they're both 7 points, aren't they?
Both 7.5.
Yeah, okay.
According to Sports Insights.
So now they're up to 7.5. When I first checked, they were both at 7. Kansas City and the
I don't
Texans,
know about laying that 7.5 points though.
Kansas City and the Texans. You know what? I think Kansas City is going to score a lot of points against the Texans. I just don't think if you get ahead of the Texans,
In the
Titans. The Titans. I'm sorry. If you get ahead of the Titans, they used to be in freaking Houston, by the way.
They did.
Yeah, they were the Oilers. But
Back in
anyway,
the
if you get ahead of them, if you can force Henry to not be getting the ball 30 times in the game and make them throw, I think you've got a very good chance to win. I just can't see this game not being a shootout, and I can't see the Tennessee Titans winning a shootout with Kansas City.
They did win. They did win a shootout in Arrowhead over the Kansas City Chiefs.
That was
earlier
the first
in the
time.
season.
Yeah, that was the first time. But Kansas City wasn't rolling like they are now. Early in the season, they were struggling. What were they, 4-3?
Now these are early leans, so these are far from official predictions. But I like the Niners. I don't know about that's 7.5 though. That's a lot.
That's a lot of points, but I think the Niners will cover that, and I think the Chiefs are going to cover too.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Titans. Not only plus 7.5, but I think they're going to win the game.
Well, I'll tell you what.
They're going to win the game.
The Titans are going to try to do what the 2007 Giants
Look, Andy
did.
Reid favored. Andy Reid's favored in the conference championship game at home.
Stop that.
I've read this book before.
Oh, stop.
I love Andy Reid. I hope he wins, but I mean, my God. I've read this book before. A lot of times.
I know, but you know what, though?
4 times to be exact in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
5 times.
Well, they won 1 time.
Well, they lost to the Cardinals as well in 2008.
Yeah.
That was a
bad
road
loss.
game, but they were favored.
And they got smoked.
They didn't get smoked.
Wasn't
They
that the
came
40,
back.
Was that the 44-8 game or?
No.
No. Oh boy, LSU almost got a safety.
No, that game. They were down early, then they rallied, and then they lost. Warner took them down at the end. But I think it's gonna be a Tennessee-San Francisco Super Bowl. I'll lay the 7. I think the Niners are gonna win. I'll lay the 7.5.
I think the Niners.
I'll take the 7.5 with the Titans, and I'll sprinkle something on the money line there.
Yeah, I think that the Chiefs are gonna beat them.
Tannehill's playing great. Mike Vrabel is coaching great. They have Derrick Henry. They're just a football team.
They're an old school team.
And if Andy doesn't get it done this year, I mean.
Well, you know what? Andy's gotten the Titans to do all his dirty work for him. So, at this point,
I don't know
And
about that.
LSU is punting, so I've already lost my bet. That's the fourth punt.
Yeah, over 5.5 punts. Looking good.
Yes, it is. Well, in all fairness, though, with LSU, though, Rob, LSU hasn't had any kind of field position to work with at all. I mean,
No,
the first time they got the ball at the 4, and the second time they got the ball at the 2.
That's a block. Ooh, almost a block punt
Yeah,
there.
much better punt this time.
That's a good
Much
roll.
better
Yeah,
punt. Look
I
at
mean
this
that
punt.
guy's got to catch that ball.
Yeah, that's a great kick. Wow.
I
All
mean,
the way to the 32-yard line.
That may seem like a minute happening
Oh no, that's not
in
minute.
the grand
That's
scheme of things here, but
that's the hidden yardage. And you know what? That
helps a lot.
Oh yeah.
Because now you're not giving the ball to Trevor Lawrence on the plus side of the 50 again,
Well, now he gets the ball
and
on
your
the 32.
defense
and
can
if-
kind of relax a little bit.
Well, and if the defense can actually stop him, stop him from getting over midfield, maybe the offense could get some field position so Coach O can open up that playbook.
And getting to LSU's offense, obviously they have Joe Burrow, and they have a trio of receivers, 2 of which are surefire professionals in Jamar Chase, over 80 catches. 80 catches, and you may see 80 catches, but 80 catches in college,
That's a lot of
that
catches.
doesn't happen all the time.
No,
And then-
go remember there's 12 games?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot of catches for
And
12
then you
games.
have a Justin Jefferson, who really exploded in the college football playoff against Oklahoma with 4 touchdown passes. And Frank, that's my dream scenario at 22. Justin Jefferson from LSU.
Yeah, some of the mock drafts, they actually do have Jefferson in that 20 range.
I think he can play the slot, and
Yeah.
I think he can play outside. And I mean, look at the
Yeah.
players that LSU produces in terms of receivers. You get Odell and Jarvis Landry, and they're really good at producing pro talent from the SEC. They just never get to this point really because they always lack a quarterback.
They always lose to Alabama.
That, and they always lack a quarterback.
Yeah, but not
which
this
they
year.
which they have this year. So Justin Jefferson's my dream scenario for the Eagles. Close second would be number 5 here on Clemson. His name's T. Higgins. He's 6'4", 230. He's just an absolute beast. So those are two names to keep an eye on as the draft process unfolds for the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah, as a Giant
picking
fan,
21st.
I'm looking for.
Well, you're picking 4th.
Yeah, I'm looking for an offensive lineman. I would think that they're going to try to get. The Giants are going to try to use their money to draft to sign a couple of defensive players.
Now, we
They-
missed you last week. Giants hired Joe Judge. We kind of have a huge carousel here in the NFC East. You got 3 of the 4 teams change coaches. So you have Joe Judge. You're a Giants fan. Are you pleased with the signing? Are you underwhelmed by the signing?
I'll tell you what. At first, when I heard his name, I said who, just like everybody else. But after getting the ringing endorsements from Bill Belichick and from Nick Saban, and hearing him on his presser, guy sounds like he's a take charge kind of guy, and he's going to stick his foot up some people's asses, and I think he's going to get some results. So especially these defensive players, I think these defensive players they need to get dogged a little bit, and hopefully Gettleman will go out and bring in a couple of pass rushers so the Giants can get a pass rush and help.
Wow, that seam
help
route.
these guys
He's gone. He
Oh.
gets tackled at the 10, and we get a penalty here, but just nobody covers number 88 up the seam. Sunshine hits him in stride, and LSU's in business, or Clemson's in business here. Well in the red zone. We'll check on this flag here, but
I think it's coming back.
looks like it might be coming back. Looks like my boy number 5 here. I just sang his praises. Look like he.
Boy, you talk about a costly penalty.
But I like the hire. And then they hired a defensive coordinator today as well.
Yeah, they got the guy from Miami, from the Dolphins. We'll see
Lateral
about it.
move.
Yeah, but you know what? We'll see. We'll see about that.
He's a Patriot. The guy wants his Patriot.
Yeah,
guy.
no, I get all that, and that's to me, it's not a bad move. So far, I am not unhappy with what the Giants are doing. I mean, I would have liked to have McCarthy. That Made no bones about that. But some of these other moves, like Rivera, I wouldn't want him. Thank God they didn't get Jason Garrett. I mean, that would have been a very bad joke if they got him. We'll see what happens. I mean,
anyone who hires Jason Garrett, it's like the Giants hiring Gabe Kapler.
Yeah, why
right after this debacle in Philly. Let it breathe a little bit, and then if you want to
I mean,
take a look at him in a year or two, okay.
Nobody needs. We don't need the clapper. Let him go clap somewhere else.
And then McCarthy's going to Dallas.
Right.
This division is going to be improved, at least from a coaching standpoint, because Rivera to the Reds, Rivera's a good football coach.
He's a good defensive coach.
Yes.
Who did he hire to be his offensive coordinator?
I didn't see that. Frank, do you know that?
Who is this?
Did they did the Redskins make an OC hire?
Let me see.
He's going to need a good one.
He's
going to have his work cut out for him with Haskins.
Yeah, because he's not an offensive-minded coach.
And then they're going to have the second pick in the draft. The Giants are going to have the fourth pick in the draft. The Giants have a bunch of cap space.
Oh, it's Scott Turner.
Never heard of him.
Never heard of him.
He is the son of the team's ex-coach.
Is that Norv Turner's son?
Turner's son.
It is Norv's kid, yep.
Okay.
Well, that may not be a bad move. I mean,
we'll see.
Yeah. I mean.
And then Dallas.
Norv was a hell of a good offensive coordinator. Wasn't a great head coach, but it was a very good offensive
And then
coordinator.
Dallas gets McCarthy, which I love for them.
Yeah, it kind of.
Not that he's Vince Lombardi, but I mean he's way better than.
Well, you and I have had that discussion. It's
Jason Garrett. I mean
he's way better than Jason Garrett.
Garrett had no voice.
No, and Mike McCarthy will definitely command some respect. The only thing I just wonder about with McCarthy is what happened with him and Rodgers. And why is it that as soon as Rodgers gets rid of McCarthy,
that's a great wild card. I mean he's so quick. NTN. Number 9 on number 9 orange here. If you're watching on ESPN at home like we are here in the Real Talk studios.
Yeah, I mean that burst.
His burst is unbelievable.
Yeah,
if I'm Arizona at the top of the draft, if I'm LA at the top of the draft,
yeah,
I'm looking at him hard. There's
wow.
Lawrence catches the edge. Clemson takes a 6-0 lead. I'm going to assume the extra point here and say that they're going to be up 7-0. 6 minutes to go in the first quarter.
They finally cashed in on all those great field positions.
I mean, you give them a short field enough times.
Well, I mean, this time they didn't really have a short field, but they got the big play, and that was the key. So we'll see what happens with LSU now. That was a heck of a fake.
I mean, he just froze number 3.
That's
so good.
Filthy.
What a fake.
I mean, all due respect to Joe Burrows, but this guy, when it comes to a professional football prospect, Trevor Lawrence is the truth, man. He's the best one since Manning.
I mean,
he's got to be the best prospect since Manning.
I mean, look at that fake. I mean,
going to next year for the Heisman race. I mean, all eyes are going to be on Trevor Lawrence.
Should Trevor Lawrence even play next year?
I think he should. I mean, if you're projected to be a number 1 overall pick and a possible Heisman winner, you got to play.
Yeah, you got to play. You can't sit out a year.
And even with ETN possibly going to go into the draft next year, I mean, we're probably going to see a situation like what we saw with USC like about a decade ago, where we saw Matt Leinart and Reggie Bush both in the running for the Heisman. I think I could see a situation like this.
NTN, he's not coming back.
ETN, I think he's coming back.
He's going to go in the draft.
Wait, he's going in the draft?
Is he
he's
eligible?
Doesn't announce that yet.
Is he eligible yet? Is he a junior?
He's a junior.
Oh, then he's
Frank's gonna look it up.
Yeah.
There's no way.
If he's a junior, he's definitely gonna get drafted. He's definitely going into the draft.
He's a junior, yeah.
Yeah,
but we'll see what's gonna happen. I mean, he could come back for his senior year. It's happened before where a lot of good running backs are coming back for their senior year, like Oklahoma State.
Chuba Hubbard, yes.
Chuba Hubbard going back for his senior year. Definitely propelling Oklahoma State for a Big 12 title run. Other than that, ETN's going to be something to look at going to.
Oh, I mean,
next year.
He's going to be a
He's
first-round
gonna be
pick.
a first-round
you
pick.
can't go to. I mean,
right.
Trevor Lawrence has to go back to
Yeah,
school.
Trevor Lawrence has to go back.
Yeah, he does. He'll be back next year. He'll be back, and boy, this Clemson team, man, oh man, are they good.
And then we had some baseball news today.
Yes,
Houston
we did.
Astros got their hands caught in the cookie jar way too stiff of penalties, if you ask me, Brad. Way too stiff.
Well,
they
cheated, Rob.
I
mean,
get it.
They
Yeah,
cheated,
okay.
and it's bad for the game. But it's bad for the game to do what they did.
The only thing that they did that made everyone's eyebrow raise is they used computers, and the Red Sox used computers.
Yeah,
guys have been
banging on garbage cans. I mean, jeez, come on,
Brad. Come on, teams. Do you think the Yankees don't have a version of this?
I think
you think the Phillies don't have a version of this?
Yeah, but
every team has a version of this.
But Rob,
the Astros got caught.
Rob, the whole thing with the Yankees and the Phillies, they probably have their guys who are on second base, maybe doing signals or something like that. These guys were using video cameras and video monitors. I mean,
I get it,
do that.
But I mean, a $5 million fine, a 1-year suspension for a GM and a manager who have since been fired by the owner.
I haven't heard what happened to Alex Cora yet. Has anything happened?
Nothing's happened to Alex Cora, but he was the bench coach during this. Then he won the World Series the next year. Now they're being investigated.
Well,
but getting back to the Astros.
The reason they're going to get investigated is because that crap with the Apple Watches that in 18. If you remember, they were cheating with the Apple Watches.
Okay, but I mean, you look at the penalties. So you have a GM and manager who have a 1-year ban and both lost their jobs. You have a $5 million fine.
I think the GM is done. I don't think you're ever going to see him coach
and
anywhere.
You have a 2021. So the next 2 first-round pick and second-round pick for 2 straight years, they get docked by. I mean, I get they cheated and
You know what? I think
it should have been a $5 million fine.
I think Manfred was trying to send a message that to stop to cut it out.
Oh yeah, kind of like Bud Selig did in the late '90s with the steroids.
Yeah, but I think he's got a little bit more of a backbone. By the way, a couple of scoring updates for those.
So
of
you're
you who are
fine.
interested.
You don't think that you thought that it wasn't enough.
No, I think it was right on target.
And what do you think's going to happen to the Red Sox?
It could be worse because if he did it twice, Alex Cora was the mastermind. In Houston.
Like, what do you do though? Like, okay, let's say Cora gets a year, since Hinch got a year and the GM got a year. Are you firing Cora?
If you're the Red Sox,
yeah.
Well, if he gets suspended for a year, yeah, they'll fire him because what good is he if he's suspended? He can't manage the team.
And he wasn't that great last year either.
No,
now, they had flaws from a roster standpoint as well, but, I mean, I don't know. I mean, guys losing their job and 2 years of top draft picks gone and a big-time $5 million fine. I think you're going to see something similar. I think they went super overboard.
I think you're going to see something similar with the Red Sox, although I don't think the GM is going to take – well, that was Dombrowski. Was the GM with the Red Sox
was he the GM or was he the president of baseball operations?
But as the president of baseball operations, he was making all the trades. So technically,
yeah,
he would be the GM too.
He doesn't have a job right now, though.
Dombrowski?
Unless I missed something.
No, I don't think he does. So he could be suspended for a year. In other words, he can't get a job for another year. Although I think Dombrowski is probably just about played out at this point. But I mean,
why?
Well, because he
World
put
Series in Detroit, World Series.
I know, but he also put 2 teams in salary cap hell too. Because the Red Sox are in salary cap. I mean, you and I talked about this the year that they won, that they were basically going to put themselves in a situation where they
if
can't
I'm a
get
fan
anybody.
of the Boston Red Sox, I don't care about my salary cap hell. I got a ring.
True.
And the Red Sox are going to be much better this year.
You sure about that?
No, I'm not, because their manager might be suspended.
Yeah, well, also Porcello is gone.
Yeah, but I mean,
I know he had a bad year last year, but Porcello is one of those guys that seems to have
a
year good and a year
you still
bad.
have that lineup.
Yeah, and you still have
Betts,
three,
you have Benintendi, you have Devers, you have Bogarts,
and you still have the 3 great pitchers too. Sale, Price, and Rodriguez are still really good.
He's really good.
Eduardo Rodriguez. To be honest with you, last season he was better than any of them.
Is that just a pick?
I think it was broken up.
Clemson came to play in the early going
Clemson's
here.
Clemson's looking good. You guys were right so far, but we got a long way to go.
Oh, I mean, Houston was up, 24-0?
Yep. Oh, he dropped it. Well, no, that was actually a very good defensive play.
And then, I mean, you look at the baseball hot stove. I mean, is it me or is it embarrassment to baseball if the Colorado Rockies trade Nolan Arenado?
I don't think they're going to trade him. I think they're just looking.
Sounds like he's going. It sounds like he's booking his flight to St. Louis now.
You know what? I'll believe it when I see it. There's 3 guys that I'll believe it when I see it getting traded this year. Okay, Hader, Nolan Arenado, and Lindor.
Lindor.
I'll believe it when I see it.
I'd put Mookie Betts on that list as well.
Yeah, and I'll believe it when I see it. I'll see it when I believe it when I see it is Mookie Betts. I don't think any of these guys are going anywhere.
I think there's
because all these teams want to win. If Cleveland trades Lindor,
right?
Okay, I mean Cleveland has a very good chance to make the playoffs still. They can win that division.
The AL Central is always. I mean, it's a new team every year that steps up.
Yeah, but they can
wide open.
They can win that division.
I think the Twins are.
The Twins are still good, but you know what? The White Sox have made some nice additions.
I love the White Sox this year. I think they're going to win it.
The only problem I have with the White Sox, Rob, is before we talk about them winning a division, can we please finish over 500 first?
I hear you.
You know,
but they're in the right division to make it jump up.
Oh, without
the Royals stink, the Tigers stink.
Without a doubt.
I think the Twins are not going to be as good as they were last year. I think that's a easy.
Yeah, I agree with you about that.
And I don't know what's going on with the Indians. They're trading guys. Kluber's out.
Kluber really didn't do anything
out
last year. Yeah, but they still have Mike Clevenger. And Mike Clevenger is
a nice Mike Clevenger.
Yeah, and so is that kid that came up last year.
Yeah, they have Clevenger, Bieber.
Bieber, thank you. Yeah, I mean he was outstanding last year.
I feel like we're missing someone.
No, those were the
rotation.
two. Those were the two. Carrasco.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's 3. I mean, yeah, and who was the other guy that's always hurt all the time?
Gee, I'm so not in baseball mode.
Yeah,
right
I know.
now.
I'm not in baseball mode either. But Salazar, is that his name?
Salazar.
Yeah, is he still on the team or? I
believe he is. Yes.
Okay. So, well, if he ever plays, I mean that's a pretty good force.
And then you still have a few guys out there. You know, Josh Donaldson unsigned.
I still think he's going to end up. On the Nationals.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think that's where he ends up going. I think they lost Rendon.
Yes.
They did re-sign Cabrera.
But I don't know. Am I crazy or is 4 years, $100 million for Josh Donaldson too much?
I wouldn't give him 4 years. I'd give him 3. I know he's going to sign as soon as he gets 4 years. I've heard those stories, but I wouldn't give him more than 3. Rob, he's too injury prone.
That's my thing with him.
That's the problem.
And he stayed healthy last year,
and he had a great year. And listen, but you know, the
Braves
aren't stupid though. The Braves could have re-signed him if they thought that he could last 4 years. I don't know if that guy can last 4 years.
Jason Renner, man, look at all this talent. Lots of great players for the Birds to pass up on in favor of Pac-10 project players. Jason Renner still standing by my LSU pick. Great points there by Jason Renner. I hope that these guys are fixated on this game and pick guys from this game and not these high-motor project guys from small schools or stinky Pac-12 schools. So,
I would agree with you. Look, yet another punt, Rob.
If I'm an NFL GM and you don't play for the SEC, the Big Ten, or Clemson, I'm not picking you.
Well, not in the first round.
I'm not picking you. No, period. Period, end of story.
That might be a little strong. I mean, you could...
Brad, look at your boy Slayton. Here's a perfect example. Look at your boy Slayton on the Giants. Auburn guy, 5th round. What do you have, 9 touchdowns last year?
Yeah, no, he was
the
really
level
good.
of competition at those schools, even just in practice every day, surpasses anything in the country.
You're not wrong. I mean, I hate to agree with you about that, but you might be right about that.
And you know what? Maybe it's short-sighted, and maybe I'm taking it a little bit too far, but I want battle-tested, big, strong, athletic guys for my NFL team, and that's
So
where they all play.
So you're
the
saying,
SEC, the Big Ten, and Clemson.
Well, what about Oklahoma?
I mean, Clemson, Oklahoma's made the playoff what? Multiple times, and they get smoked every year.
True, but they do have some good players on their team.
I mean, Baker Mayfield was just the first overall pick. He looks like a bag of trash out there.
Yeah,
Sam Bradford was terrible.
Stunk. Yeah, you're right.
So, I mean, and then
No, you're not wrong about that.
so LSU or SEC, Big Ten, Clemson. If you didn't go to any of them, if you didn't go to them, you're not in my NFL draft board. Sorry.
Well,
Maybe
you're not wrong.
Maybe you make an exception here and there, but I mean, for the most part, I think that's a pretty good rule of thumb to fill your roster with really good players.
Okay, so then you would throw out Justin Herbert then.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Just asking.
No.
That question had to be asked. You know that,
Yeah.
right? Okay.
Now, if you're, it's tough because quarterbacks are tough.
Because
they're so scarce.
Your guy
They're so scarce.
Your guy went to North Dakota. My guy went to Duke. And I happen to think my guy is going to be very, very good. Your guy is already really, really good.
Yeah, Daniel Jones is
I
future
think
franchise quarterback.
I
For
mean,
sure.
25 touchdown passes and over 3,000 yards in 12 games.
It's tough to use that rule for
pretty good.
quarterbacks because you have to have a quarterback, and there's only so many quarterbacks.
Look at
There's
this.
Justin Jefferson.
There it is.
There's my guy, Justin Jefferson.
There it is. We
Joe
are
Burrow
all
getting
tied
it
up.
going. Started all over.
We are
Oh,
all.
I'm sorry. That's Jamar Chase, number 1. 52-yard touchdown. Jamar Chase, the 80 reception guy. But that's a dime. That's one-on-one coverage. It's Joe Burrow taking a shot, trusting his guy to come down with the ball.
It's called LSU finally getting some field position, too.
The guy missed his jam, number 8 here.
Yeah, a nice catch, though. Nice throw, too. Right.
Guy
on
missed
the
his
money.
jam and just let Jamar Chase run right by him, and that's all they need for this guy.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with LSU is kind of like the Kansas City Chiefs in college
both
football.
these teams are.
Yeah, if their offense is one of these quarterbacks gets rolling, you're screwed. I mean, just plain out and out screwed.
All right, let's get back to the hot stove a little bit.
By the way, quick update in
Go ahead.
scores. The Bruins were ahead of the Flyers after 2 periods, 5-4.
5-4. Wow,
5-4.
that changed quickly.
Yeah, and the Rangers are ahead of the Islanders after 2, 3-1. So that's your Metropolitan Division scoreboard.
And the Sixers are in action as well, but I don't really care about. Care about.
We
them.
we should give out a little bit of an NBA scoreboard too.
Frustrating squad.
I mean,
the Sixers are.
we're going to be going off pretty soon, so.
Sixers are up by 1 with 3 minutes and 52 seconds to go in the game.
Okay.
Be nice for them to get a road win.
So
How about a road win, Sixers?
So they're hanging
nice.
around. So they're hanging around, and hopefully they can get a big shot and win the game. How long are they going to lose Embiid? I've heard anywhere from 4 weeks to 12 weeks. I read online a doctor said anywhere between 4 to 6 weeks, and another doctor said 8 to 12 weeks.
So it's like when the fucking weather people say it's going to snow 5 to 57 inches.
Yeah, pretty much.
So
So
it's
I
like
guess
that.
nobody really
Doctors
knows.
are doing that now.
Yeah, nobody
I don't
really
know.
knows.
I don't know. But me and Greg talked about it. We talked about the big Sixers because they had the big Sixers show last week because the game was on during the show against the Oklahoma City Thunder, which they won. Part of me feels like now they're not a better team without Joel Embiid. So let's just get that notion out of there.
Oh, no.
That's
No,
not
no,
what
no.
I'm saying. But I think it's very hard for this team to get the kind of spacing you need to win an NBA championship with 3 7-footers on the floor, one of which has no interest in shooting the basketball, in Ben Simmons.
Yeah, but he's more of a guard. He's a point guard, though.
I understand that, but he doesn't play like a point guard.
No,
he wants
but
to be,
he does
wants
slash. He slashes to the
Yeah,
basket.
but he wants to slash, but there's Horford, and you have 2 centers down low clogging the lane.
Yeah, that's
Ben
a
can't
problem.
play the kind of basketball that he wants. And I said it last week. By far the most frustrating Sixer is Joel Embiid, not Ben Simmons, because Ben Simmons is elite at everything to do with basketball besides shooting.
The problem with the problem with I think there's more of a problem with Horford because you know what, Joel Embiid will be more than happy to go out there and chuck up some threes.
I understand that.
And give
That's
Ben,
not what I
and
want
give-
him doing.
I know. I'm just saying. So that'll give Ben a chance to go under. The problem is Horford basically spends most of his time within 10 feet of the basket, and that kind of invites.
And I didn't
a
like
lot of
that
people
signing
in
in the
that-
summer. I haven't liked the way it's looked so far, and I think it was a bad signing. I think it was $110 million that should have been used on
Well, the problem is
a perimeter player.
the problem is Jimmy didn't want to play here for whatever.
Jimmy didn't
reason.
want to play here because the Sixers wouldn't give him the 5th year.
Well,
Miami gave him the 5th year. The Sixers stood strong at 4 years. I don't understand what the difference is. I mean, wow, a whole nother year when you can go over the
it's
salary cap to sign him back.
it's not that as much as I think Jimmy wanted to play in Florida because of the tax advantages. I think there is something to
I mean,
that.
call me crazy, Brad, but I don't think tax advantages are at the forefront of Jimmy Butler's mind.
I don't know about that. Yeah, you have to understand, Rob, the amount of money these guys make. There is no state income tax in Florida, and you could take 5 to 10% of their salary that would go to state income tax. If he's making $25 million a year, okay, and like 10% of that is 2.5 mil. If he goes to Florida, that's an extra 2.5 mil that he's making. So he's making $27 million. If the Sixers would have to pay him $27 million to match the $25 million that or 24.5, whatever, to match the $24.5 million that Miami's paying him.
I get it.
That is a fact, especially if it's 5 years. You're talking.
It's like when when the Bryce Harper sweepstakes and the Giants had to go to $400 million to match the $330 that the Phillies were offering.
Exactly.
Because
the tax
I
in
get it.
California. And that is a factor.
But if that's really what happened and they didn't want to go to the 5th year,
then that
because
was foolish. Because if they would have gone to the 5th year.
like if Jimmy said, yo, I'll play for you, but you got to give me the 5th year. You got to give me the extra year. I'm not playing for 4 because I got all these teams that are giving me 5 years.
If it's the exact same money and he doesn't give a crap about the taxes.
Well, we got more money. Well, he got the same money because it was a sign and trade.
Right. But you know what I'm saying, though. Yep. I mean, that's the thing with these Florida teams. I mean, I'll give you an example in hockey. I remember when the Rangers were dealing with Ryan Callahan.
Yeah.
Okay. Ryan Callahan wanted an awful lot of money, and the Rangers ended up trading him to Tampa Bay in the Martin St. Louis trade. But Callahan wanted to go to Tampa Bay because he knew that $5.5 million from Tampa Bay was like making $6.5 million in New York. And the Rangers weren't going to give him $6.5 million, but Tampa Bay was willing to give him $5.5 million. It's basically the same thing because of the tax structure. And the Florida teams do have an advantage, whether you want to believe it or not. They do.
They do.
I mean, it doesn't always
I
work
got
out
you.
that it doesn't always work out that way because
I just wish Jimmy Butler was still a Sixer.
well, Jimmy Butler was a great player. You know that I was a big fan of his last year. I think the guy comes to play every day. Although it mystifies me what happened to the Heat yesterday against the Knicks. That was just. They blew a 13-point lead in the fourth quarter.
I don't think the Heat are a top tier team. They're just
they're pretty good.
They're winning all these close games and they're undefeated in overtime and they're a good team. I wouldn't say they're a great team. All right, it's the end of the first quarter in New Orleans. 7-7. That's going to do it for this edition of the Sports Hounds. Taking a half shift. Brad's under the weather. We're going to go watch football. We'll see you next week. We'll have the Super Bowl preview. Super Bowl will be set. We'll react to this game and react to everything else in the worldwide of sports. Until then, peace.